this, but not touch it. Because you're
I got it.
She obviously she's
Board members will join the meeting, please. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, on behalf of the board, I welcome all members of this evening's audience to the meeting. This meeting is a working session of the board to conduct the business of the district. The agenda for today's meeting has been published, and the agenda items to be discussed and or voted on have been studied by board members. I'll introduce the people here on the dais with me. To my far left is Recording Secretary Cindy Benson, Superintendent Larry Francois, board members Amy Kast, Sandy Hayes, Don McCravey, and Kimberly D'Angelo. I'm Janet Quinn, and I currently serve as president of the board. Agendas for this meeting, as well as minutes from our previous meeting, are available on the table at the back. If you are here to address the board on agenda items, please sign in on the clipboard that's on the table with the agendas. You'll have an opportunity near the beginning of the meeting for your comments. So the first order of business is the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. In light of the large crowd here tonight, and I know we've got a number of folks who are waiting for public comment, I'll submit my superintendent's report in writing for the minutes and allow us to move forward.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is a special presentation. At this time, Director McCravey and Director D'Angelo would like to introduce the 2015 Frank Love Scholarship recipient.
So I'd like to ask Trevor to come up and join us. I've prepared some comments for tonight to congratulate you on this milestone. I can't explain how your application and interview affected this year's Frank Love Scholarship Committee. There are many outstanding students in the North Shore schools, and this year's applicants were staggering in their accomplishments. Both Director D'Angelo and I have a deep love for children and education. Although we come from opposite ends of the political spectrum, we find agreement in serving our community as school directors. Thanks. No, it's not working. So just our combined passion for children is formidable. And what we saw in you was exactly that same passion, dedication, and service to your fellow man. We recognize a kindred spirit. You are a young man that wants to change the world and make it a better place. Your credentials were admirable. Your grades and accomplishments, excellent, but this scholarship is named after a man that embodied selfless volunteerism for the future. Your statement at the end of one of your essays, "Dreams do not come true overnight," is so very true. Advocating passionately for children, as Director D'Angelo and I do, has taken and is taking. We are thrilled to touch the future when we shake hands with you and congratulate you on being this year's Frank Love Scholarship Committee recipient. And if you stay a bit longer tonight, You will actually get to watch passionate advocacy and hear issues governing bodies grapple with.
I'll be happy to.
This field is all in anticipation of your future service to mankind, we congratulate you on receiving the North Shore School Foundation's Frank Love Scholarship.
You don't have to say
Congratulations, Trevor. Director D'Angelo and Director Brady have the privilege of interviewing the recipients this year, or the interviews. Had the privilege of conducting the interviews this year, and we're just happy to congratulate you as well as an entire board. Thank you. The North Shore School District Board of Directors has set aside a period of up to 60 minutes to receive updates and comments from association leaders and citizens from our community. The board expects speakers to address matters related to district operations, policies, procedures, and agenda items under consideration by the board. Comments should not make reference to any employee or representative from the district by name. If interested, there is a complaint process available through the Office of the Superintendent. Please note that because of the governance process, the board may ask clarifying questions regarding topics not on the meeting's agenda, but will likely defer discussion to a future meeting if warranted, in order for staff to prepare any necessary background info for board members to review and for discussion item to be included on a published agenda for the benefit of any other parties who might be interested. Alternatively, a district employee or board member may respond to individuals offering public comment at a later date if warranted to do so. Tonight we have families here to share their comments and concerns with the school board regarding a situation at Timbercrest Junior High and personal experiences regarding race in our school district. The district has hired an outside investigator to conduct an independent investigation regarding the situation at Timbercrest, and we are unable to comment on investigations that are in progress. Please refrain from using any student or staff names in your comments. We would appreciate that. We also have families here tonight who are concerned about bringing additional kindergartners to an already large school community and the impact on learning and quality of school life. Well, on behalf of the school board, I want to assure you that we are listening, that we care, and we appreciate your courage in sharing your personal experiences with us. Through our leadership and governance, we are committed to providing an environment for all North Shore students that is safe, inclusive, and promotes each student's educational growth and achievement. As a district, we are experiencing rapid growth, our demographics are changing, and we are working to improve our policies and services to meet the changing needs of the families and students and staff. Some of this work includes additional diversity training and professional development for the school board and the administration that will start this summer, and includes plans for expanding that work to our teachers and staff. And the school board is reviewing and discussing policy needs regarding educational equity for all students. An important component of this work is listening to you and engaging with you, our families, our students, and our staff, and to better understand your experiences and your needs as we work together to bridge those gaps. So when addressing the board, please state your name clearly for our records. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. When you hear the timer, that means your time has expired. We thank you for your participation in the governance process, and I'm just going to ask, we do have a list that would exceed our customary hour. And
Madam Chair, I move that we extend the time or dismiss the 1 hour limit that we usually use.
Second. Okay. And we'll just, I see agreement all across the board, so we'll just consider that done. Thank you. So we customarily begin with associations. Are there any association leaders present this evening wishing to address the board? Oh,
For council, TS. That helped. Stephen, giving me your service. I always end up giving the updates on the most interesting evenings. A couple of highlights PTA last week had recognized 3 outstanding graduating seniors in awarding our PTSA scholarship. And thank you, Larry, for being on hand to help present the awards. We have some really amazing graduates, and it was just astounding to listen to the accolades and the applications, and they went on, and they were just amazing. It was like, how did they have all the time to do everything that they're doing? So it was great. We're looking forward to seeing all of you at brunch tomorrow. The weather is promising to look good, so we are excited to honor all of the wonderful volunteers that make PTA in North Shore such a wonderful, terrific, I wrote that twice, child advocacy organizations. So we're looking forward to that. And as we wind down this year, we're already working on plans for next year and getting ready to support PTAs in the transition. So we are, despite the fact that it's not summer, already starting to think about what we're going to be working on this summer. So more to come there. And the final thing, we are currently evaluating how we want to handle candidate forums for the upcoming election cycles. As you know, we have at least one primary that will be happening this summer, so we're trying to figure out how to best meet the needs of getting information out and sharing with families in North Shore positions in that of the various candidates facility.
thank you, Mindy. Any other associations? No, I don't see any others. I'm going to just pause for a moment and get organized, so excuse me for just a moment. If you signed the list thinking you were signing into the meeting and not signing up to speak, you are free to decline when I call your name, but it happens occasionally, so I didn't want you to feel bad. So we'll start with Mike Howerton.
Hello, I'm Mike Howerton, father of a multi-ethnic family. All my kids are in your schools. We've had an overwhelmingly positive experience in North Shore for the last 11 years, and in 3 minutes I can't express my gratitude enough for all those in the district who have poured into the life of my kids. There have been 3 instances where we've had to confront racism directly targeting our son. In 2 of the 3 instances, the teachers and administrators were quickly with us and to the other children involved to reach an immediate end to the racially motivated behavior and words, which resulted in an apology and complete reconciliation. I know this is possible. I have seen it. In the 3rd instance, this did not happen, and it was unsettling to realize that the other family involved was comfortable communicating racist stereotypes without any apology whatsoever. We sought to connect and reconcile, but have been rebuffed. Racial incidents do occur at our schools. Some percentage of these are dealt with correctly, according to the policy North Shore has written, and end up bringing education and reconciliation, and some percentage are not. We can argue about the exact percentage per school, but no one can argue that racial bias still exists. We all know that it does, even in our schools. And nobody, save the most ignorant, want it to persist. What I'm advocating for is to reward principals, teachers, and administrators for educating toward equity, calling racist comments or jokes out, and addressing it seriously when they see it. I know that there is a policy currently in place, but there must be some other unwritten policy which pressures principals to deny that racism takes place at all on their campus, or to deny that threats against students take place. In the recent instance at Timbercrest, both have been well documented. I've read the screenshots, and so has the middle school administration, as well as the policy. African American students at Timbercrest have singularly been targeted with all sorts of racial slurs, being called ape men and subhuman. African American students have been the target of death threats, from lynching to being shot to being stabbed. This is documented. And yet the emails sent last week to parents downplayed this reality. Friday the 22nd, the administration of Timbercrest essentially denied that any sort of racial threat has occurred to the parents of the threatened student. You can see why this is so upsetting. I can only imagine that if principals were rewarded for taking these things seriously, this principal's response would have been different. Instead of denying what has been documented, he would have been free to be on the side of leadership toward a better day. I believe this. I have to believe that all of us want to be part of leading North Shore into a better day. Denying this issue exists will never get us there. Bellevue School has an equity department, and I'm advocating that North Shore look into one that reports directly to the board. And threats against any student need to be taken with utmost seriousness. I'm advocating that a threat assessment team be developed. Until all of our students feel safe, none of our students can feel safe. Let's take action to make things better. Thank you very much.
Mason.
I'm sorry, can I get a clarification on that? You were advocating, some of us up here don't remember what the first item was. I'm sorry, I got the threat assessment team. You were, right before that, you said,
An equity board, equity department.
Sorry, I was trying very hard to adhere to 3 minutes, but the microphone issue threw me off just a bit. There's an equity department at Bellevue School District, and I'm advocating that there's one for North Shore School District that reports directly to the board. I think that it would be wise to have a threat assessment team or a threat assessment committee that evaluates threats to our students. And I thank you for your service.
thank you.
Mason Coe.
Alright. Hello, North Shore School Board members and superintendent. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Mason Coe, and this is my baseball team, the Northwest Bandits. We are friends and teammates of a student at Timbercrest Junior High, who, as you know, has been the victim of serious bullying and racism. I'm also a proud former North Shore School District student. One of the things that I learned on day one of kindergarten at Kokanee Elementary was to treat all students with respect, regardless of their size, shape, or race. I am disappointed in the change in values that that student has witnessed in the North Shore School District. I apologize. As school board members, you have the job to make sure that there are clear protocols for investigating and dealing with racism threats in your schools. I am not here to criticize what has happened in the past, but I'm asking you to look forward to the changes that you can make in the future. I believe that there should be a system of support for victims of racism, violent threats, and bullying. I understand students who make threats to themselves and others should be held accountable, yet also given help. I believe there could be a better effort to provide these services to all students in the North Shore School District. The Healthy Youth Survey done by OSBI in 2014 shows an increase in bullying in Snohomish County. 1 in 3 8th graders surveyed reported being bullied. I find this stat unacceptable, and I think that you guys can help reduce that number. Please consider whether the North Shore School District and its staff is doing everything it can do to provide a safe and supportive atmosphere for students of all colors. The reason I'm speaking tonight is that my friend and teammate felt scared and alone. He was afraid to go to school, which should be a safe haven of learning with caring staff members to help him feel supported. My teammates and I are here to show him that he is not alone and that he will never be alone. Thank you.
you. So I have Jared Havoc and Marcus O'Donnell, but they're crossed off. Is that accurate? I don't want to miss anybody. Do you have someone that would like to speak? Please state your name.
I'm Diego Toronto. I also live in Los Angeles, and I am a teammate of bullying boy. And I heard about the hard times, and he's just who he is, and he can't change who he is. So whatever he's doing and getting received for is obviously unacceptable. And I know being a school board member, you guys know that. And I feel like you guys should probably maybe handle this situation a little more hard and not as lenient to the student, saying that he should maybe not have as many chances as he did. And no one should have to go through what he's gone through, feeling alone and by himself. Everyone should have equal rights and opportunities with everyone, especially within school, because school creates opportunities for everyone and gives everyone an equal opportunity to have success in the world. One of my brothers, he was getting bullied because of his skin color, and he can't change it. That's who he is, and have someone changing who he wants to be is obviously unacceptable. Nothing should ever have someone go through that pain. He's a human like every one of us, and we all have feelings. And he had very hard feelings, very tough times. And I've seen him, never seen him this bad. He's always laughing, happy, smiling, making jokes, having fun, being who he is, being a kid, playing baseball. That's what I mean. But he's changed in the past couple of weeks, and I'm not we haven't noticed this thing really, but it's just little changes that he would say stuff like his jokes and comments and stuff. But he has freedom next to everyone, and others are too requested to feel safe and have respect towards him. And the color of skin does not define who we are. Our character and values are values. Thank you.
Dominic Red. Hello, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I am part of the Bandits organization as well as all these people. What has happened to my teammate is unacceptable. As well as unacceptable, it should not be taken lightly. Racism should have perished decades ago. I won't stand by and watch my teammate be criticized by the color of his skin. The school board hasn't done their part to stop this problem. My teammates are my family, and I can't let my family be hurt like this. My hope from the speech is to make people aware of the problem at hand. The fact of the matter is that what has been done to protect my teammate is not nearly enough. I hope that the school board will realize this. Although I understand that the boy that made these threats might need some help, he has no excuse. Justice must be served. This problem has to stop now. That is all.
Gordon Mitchell.
Embarrassment, I'm an electrical engineer and I can't run a wireless microphone. My name is Gordon Mitchell. I have a firm in Woodinville that does investigative work and technical work. Our job is looking inside of computers and networks to try to determine what's happening. And frequently that turns out to be what's happening in the case of getting information for threat assessments. They've gone well, in some cases they haven't. I can remember a murder case that really started as just an assault case. This is serious stuff. I'd like to give you some insights into it. I'm not a threat manager, but I work as part of organizations that do security work, computer security work, forensic investigating, and also threat assessment. I gotta say thanks though first, because I've got a family here. We've been here for 32 years in the North Shore School District. Our son is first class, you know that. First class means he was the first class of graduates from Woodinville High School. It served him well. He's a nationally credentialed teacher teaching in the Seattle area in an alternative school, a public school. He's a great guy. We've got a daughter that came through the same school system. She has a PhD in the mathematics of genetics as an internationally recognized researcher. I have another daughter also, and she followed her time at Leota and Woodinville High School as a pediatrician. Yahoo! You guys are great. I'd like to talk for a moment and give you some opinions on the current situation. It's certainly what people have mentioned before, a bullying situation or something that didn't go right or so on. But for just a moment, forget those. They're important and they're causes for things. What we're talking about now is just a plain old out-and-out death threat. Actually, several of them. And that has to be dealt with. And it can't be dealt with by a simplistic approach. In any sort of situation like this, you have to take a view of what's important. For example, look back at your minutes from the last meeting. They completely ignored the important stuff and brought out the mundane stuff. In this case, what I presume is that you know that people do threat assessments. In other words, they think through the entire process. They think of what motives are, what kind of communications there's been, not just the threat communications, but many others. Frequently, we see people finding out things by looking at computers, but there's many other ways. There are considerations like what weapons are involved, what access to weapons are there. Oh my goodness, I've gone over my 3 minutes already.
So if you have written comments, you are welcome to give them to our recording secretary, and we read everything that we are given. So.
I'll do that. I would say one thing though, that any party, either the victim or the person who did the threats or the school, can wreck the whole process. Everybody working together is what you need, and today is the day to start.
Kathleen Hamer?
Shout out to Bandit. Hi, my name's Kathleen Hamer. Thank you.
Can I ask you to use the handheld mic?
On? Yeah, okay. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit. When my son was tormented with racism in the 6th grade out of school in this district, I thought it was some kind of anomaly. I was sure that when I spoke to the school officials, it would be dealt with and the racist bullying would stop. Unfortunately, this didn't happen. Instead, we were asked by a school official, well, I wonder what your child did to provoke such a response. To which we assured him that what provoked the racist bullying was that our son was born black. We were also told that this really wasn't a racist issue, even though he was called the N-word and told he wasn't liked because he was black. We then were sure the district would handle this since the local school didn't, but they didn't either. Well, we were sure this was an unusual event in this extremely educated and enlightened community. Until again, my son was the victim of racism at Timbercrest Junior High. This time, it was in the form of death threats by another junior high student. Again, we went to the local school and then the district. Again, we were told this was not a racist issue. We have never been so surprised or dismayed by the actions of a school and a district. So again, we've had to pull our son out of school for his own physical and emotional safety. Since going public with this experience, we've heard from multiple parents who have told us of bullying situations where the school and the district refused to acknowledge the problem and refused to help their child as well. I wanted to share some of their comments that they've sent to me since they couldn't be here. This is a quote from someone that wrote me. In the past, I had filed charges against a student for bullying and gone directly to the school superintendent. Sadly, I have seen the same school administrator that is so staunchly against bullying in public make the comment that our student deserved it. Here's another quote someone sent me. We gave up on the school district providing a safe environment for our son, and we just pulled him out. I've heard that from multiple people. Again, these are actual quotes from families in the North Shore School District who feel the district has failed to protect their children. This one says, "We struggled constantly with the school district. We had to bring a lawyer in, and they made the bully the priority. We finally took it completely out of the district's hands and contacted the sheriff's office." There's another one. "When my complaints went unanswered for many years, and I saw other people's situations similar, and some were even worse and were handled worse by the district, I chose to send my son on another path through another district." And here's a comment I just received. "I had a mom the other night at baseball saying her son and another was being harassed and having racist comments made to them at Canyon Park Junior High. Another parent was there mentioning how racist students are to her child at Canyon Park as well. The lack of action doesn't surprise me on the school or the district side of things." Can I finish her quote? "Since they treat kids with learning disabilities the same way. I think the district mantra is to bully you back or string you along until your student is out of their school and then there's someone else's problem. Please just listen to the voices of these parents from this district because we believe no child is safe until every child is safe." Thank you.
No, I'm good.
Or did you have more you wanted to say? Because I wanted to give my time.
So that isn't generally the way it works. We really want to hear what you have to say tonight. I will tell you that we would really appreciate it if you would adhere to the 3-minute time. I don't want to stop anybody. I don't want to. You are welcome to come up and speak. Absolutely.
Could you repeat your name?
Hello. Okay, my name is Diana Pavick, and I don't really have anything prepared tonight, but I'm just here because my son is on the Bandits team, and all of his team and the parents on this team feel very strongly to support our team member and the parents that we know and love. In this case, where their son has been bullied and had racist death threats against him. We feel so strongly that there's no place in any school district in Washington State for such a threat, and we hope that you will take some action against that. Thank
you. Alechi, is that right? Alechi? So sorry, Ann Alisi.
Thank you for your time and consideration of my concerns regarding recent events at the local junior high. My name is Ann Alisi Khan. I'm a North Shore school parent. I currently have one child in 2nd grade, as well as a North Shore graduate that attended junior high and high school in this district. There are many elements of the recent events that cause me great concern and dismay. I'm going to focus my limited time on my concern for the lack of safety protocol. I have erroneously assumed that in the event of death threats, written plans to bring guns to school, and overtly racist sentiment against children at school, that there would be immediate action taken to protect not only the students being threatened, but for all of the other students as well, the staff, the volunteers on the campus. Further, I am also concerned that the lack of responsibility for caring for the student that was making the threats. I have witnessed a very disturbing lack of communication, failure to act, and lack of responsibility by not only the school leadership, but at a district level. Please advise why immediate action was not taken when such a seriously dangerous situation occurred. And please outline what the exact policy is when there is a death threat. As a parent, I absolutely want to be informed and be confident in the protocol that each student is mandated to follow. Further, this has been a very challenging conversation to have with my 8-year-old son. I want to know that the district is going to make every school in the district a safe place that does not tolerate racial harassment and violence towards students by anyone. Finally, please remember that no child is safe unless every child is safe. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it's on. Well, I'm a mother of one of the African-American boys that was referenced in the death threats. I have a son that graduated from the North Shore School District. I have two other boys, one at the high school and one at Timbercrest. My comments this evening regarding the death threats fueled by racism that were directed toward my son and other African-American students. Well, first of all, it's important to understand that none of my boys have ever been expelled from school, have ever been suspended, have ever been involved in fights. And I have to say this because, of course, when you see people like me, sometimes the story is different. And second, it is important to also understand that these events were not provoked or initiated first by my son, but rather the other student that made the death threats, evidenced by documented jealousy and so-called curiosity concerning the genetic makeup of African Americans. The first reporting date that I submitted to the school was April 24th. This child referenced my son that he did not count as human, that he was subhuman, and that the only reason my son was good in sports because he is black and he has extra muscles and extra bones. He further wrote, "I wish you would go and get hung by the KKK." He continues writing, "There are no black humans at our school and they should move to the jungle where they belong." He wrote, "I wish I didn't have to deal with the 3 ape men," which of course there's 3 black boys at the school. He continued with the death threats, writing and commenting that, "I'm going to shoot up the school." And I reported this to the school May 4th. I have documentation and confirmation. "I am going to come back and kill them with knives, then kill myself." He wrote, "I have absolutely no reason to live anymore." He, referring to my son, is used to everyone liking him and being the best at basketball, and he thinks he is superior to me, but he won't for long. Tomorrow he enters hell. He verbally said he was going to stab him and join the KKK, evidence and documented also as well. Students heard this as he was walking away in the cafeteria. Then one of his friends was approached and said, "How do you feel that all of your friends will be dead?" Now, I am pleading with the board to do something. This is ridiculous. I've been highly disappointed in the way that this has been handled. I grew up black, so I know how this works. I know that my voice is not really heard ever. That's the reason why I handle things the way I handle them. I try to go fast and sharp, document the information, submit it so that I am helped. But in this case, I was told that this boy was cleared, that there was nothing wrong with him, and the student would be returned back to the school. So as a mother, and you can understand as my husband is not here right now because he had another engagement that he could not get out of, that he had to attend. You can imagine how many sleepless nights we've had. And you can also imagine how irritating it is when I stand here and look before you, and as you drink your drink there very calmly, you can imagine how irritated I am because I'm the one that's staying up at night when there's no action on the board, when there's no action at the school. And I am highly disappointed, and I hope and pray that you guys will please work with us and that you will come with a solution to make sure that we are having some type of training that is being done for the administrations, teachers alike. There's problems here. And this has been an amazing experience. I've lived in 3 different states, and this has been an amazing one, amazing journey. Thank you.
That is a tough act to follow. Thank you, Angela. I do want to say, even though it's not in my written remarks, that our school district would be so much better off if we had hundreds of families move into our district like the Youngs. They are phenomenal. My name is Michelle Wright. I'm the mother of the third boy involved in this incident. We in our family have been blessed to adopt and raise two children of multi-ethnicities, as well as our own biological daughter, which has been a very exciting and great experience for most of our family's lives. We have attempted during this whole time to be part of the process of bridging the racial divide and have hopes of helping others rise above this as well. It was easier to see when they were little and simply adorable how everyone just loved them. Now that my son is 14, I still see adorable. That's not always what others see. You're familiar, obviously, with the situation in question. In today's climate of increasingly common racial and school violence, you would think that someone would have sounded the alarm and proper authorities would have been called to investigate. Consequences would follow. There would be recognition of wrongdoing, restitution for pain caused to people just because of the color of skin that they are born with. Instead, my son and his friends were dealt a double blow. First, having to face the fact that someone wants to kill you, being a 14-year-old boy. Then having the offender, someone he doesn't even really know, turn the tables and accuse these boys of bullying. He has no disciplinary history, no infractions on his record. He is not a bully and has never been in trouble. He receives unsolicited letters of praise from his teachers for being a great example and helpful to others. He's recently earned his Eagle Scout Award, performed a service project involving over 20 people and more than 200 hours of service for the city of Woodinville. He is an outstanding student and does not deserve this kind of treatment, tarnishment on his reputation and his heart and his personality. He is also growing up in the world, still riddled with racism. In the last year, he has experienced several unsolicited racial experiences, called the N-word, which is just sort of a common theme, sent strings of texts that were 50 to 100 texts from the same person, filled with every vile expression and word that you can imagine. His mother had no idea where he learned that language. The population within North Shore School District is less than 1% black, which according to leadership expert James Whitfield means we are fighting the apathy of the majority, fighting the apathy of the majority. I will conclude my remarks because I know I need to, but school is a place that is supposed to be safe. We should be able to 100% guarantee these children when they walk out of our homes in the morning that the place they're supposed to be going is going to welcome them with open arms and take care of them. This school needs a better system to handle incidents like this and keep them from becoming tragedies.
My name is Jason Wright, and I'm the father of two African Americans that are in your school district, one at Woodinville High School, and of course my son, who is 14, at Timbercrest. I was horrified to learn while I was out of town, recently on a vacation, that my son's life had been threatened by another student who was stated that he had nothing to live for and that he would kill them with knives and then kill himself too. These death threats were not properly handled with the sense of urgency and priority that they warranted. While there are no documented policies regarding death threats in the school district policies and procedures, lesser offenses like intimidation and harassment have very particular procedures. What is written is that if there is potential for clear and immediate physical harm, the district will immediately contact law enforcement, procedure 3207. Unbelievably, no one in the school or district has, to our knowledge, contacted the police. We cannot be blind to these events. The perpetrator made up retaliatory accusations of bullying to take the attention off himself. His claim immediately resulted in a call for the district to hire an outside investigation of the 3 victims many weeks later. This is handled as a higher priority than the death threat sickens me. Even if these false claims were true, it does not justify a threat of death. School officials did not take these threats seriously. Their inaction jeopardized the safety of all students, not just the African American kids mentioned in the threat. Failure to adhere to school board policy is unacceptable. Then there is the concern of others included in group texts. Have they been identified to determine if they are a threat? They did not come forward to report what has happened, and nothing has been done to contact them. My son was threatened because of the color of his skin, and not enough was done to protect his safety. He hardly even knows the young man who has leveled this charge of bullying him, has rarely interacted with him, and has no past incident with him. It will be interesting to see if the district applies its anti-retaliatory policy with an even hand or with racial bias. The system is broken and we need to fix it. There must be a policy created with specific language around this terrible offense of threatening death or suicide. And threat assessment must be administered by a qualified professional. One only has to look 30 miles down the road to Marysville to see what these kinds of threats are increasingly more often and having deadly consequences. Let's not put Woodinville on the map. No child is safe until every child is safe.
Thank you, Jason. Kathleen Coe.
The boys coach and leader was able to get off work today, so can I give my 2 minutes to him to speak?
Please state your name when you.
O'Donnell, I'm the boys coach. I'm just here to support them. Sorry, I didn't have anything ready for this, and I would do anything for them on the field, and I just want them to know I would do anything for them off the field. I think it's ridiculous that I have to be here to support him right now, and that nothing has been done. That's all I got, sorry.
Neighbor?
Hello, I'm Derek Hamer, and I'm a sophomore at Woodinville High School. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak. You know, every day I go to school and expect to get probably up to 10 words or jokes about fried chicken and Kool-Aid. You know, on the field, I've gone the N-word, and at school also. People think I'm good at sports just because of my skin color. Back in 6th grade, it was tough to watch my brother be called the N-word, and for the district just to watch. I sat there and I was thinking, you know, this is just a mistake. Surely something is going to be done. Nothing was done. Now that the racist bullying has happened again, I sat there thinking, all right, this time surely they'll come through and do something about it. Still, nothing has been done. Then when the death threats were given, I sat there, watched my brother just totally scared and sad. And I just didn't know what to do. I thought, oh no, the district surely is going to do something about it. But no. Instead, what we got was blame on the real victims, saying that, oh, surely they're the ones that caused this. They're the ones that bullied him first, which I don't think they did, but if they had bullied him, that's still not justified. I've always said it's never okay when racism happens to anyone, but when it happens to your own brother, there's frustration that just builds to a new level. Like, it's one thing when I constantly get called the N-word by kids thinking, oh, Derek, you're fine with it, blah, 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 even though I've told them countless of times, no, not okay, it's not cool, just please stop. No, every day I get called out maybe up to 5 times a day. My hope is that this board will finally do something about this. Because it's not just for the now, we don't want, we want it to stop now, but I'm more worried for the future black kids, or just really future anyone else who has targeting or racial slurs thrown at them. There's got to be something done to stop that. My hope also is that tonight as you go to bed, you roll over in your sleep and think, man, we really screwed up. We really messed up. I think we've kind of got this thought that, hey, just because we're not Ferguson, just because we're not Florida, that there's no racism going on, but there's clear racism. You can ask my black friends that I go to Woodville with, there's racism every day there. And again, no child is safe until every child is safe. Thank you.
I wanted to tell my story. I have 2 kids in the North Shore School District. One's a sophomore at Woodinville, and one is 6th grade at Woodin Elementary. My son went to Timbercrest, and in the middle of 8th grade, we pulled him out of Timbercrest due to, my husband's Mexican, so they're mixed. And he was having people say, you know, my dad's got a new lawnmower, come on my lawn, taco, Mexican, just all the time. So I pulled him out to Timbercrest, and I just wanted to tell my story that if this was 3 years ago, something needs to be done.
Probably write that name to Shannon. Kelly, right? Shannon? Sorry. Tell me how to pronounce it.
Hello, my name is Shannon Kelly Ray. Yes. Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent, Francois, directors, parents, and concerned friends. I'm an 11-year resident of Bothell. My 2 sons attended a North Shore Elementary School for the 2013-14 school year for 2nd and 4th grades. My husband and I opted to not continue with the district because we grew frustrated with having to defend whether or not our 2nd grader was academically challenged or gifted and bored. He came home every day from his very first week of school crying because he was convinced that, in his words, his teacher hated him because she was forcing him to read baby books. She regularly suggested that he could read at a high level, but she questioned whether or not he could understand. He was tested and assessed the previous spring in their private schools, and it was determined that he was gifted. In November of his year with the North Shore District, he was independently tested or assessed by a third-party licensed psychologist that administered a full-scale Wechsler IQ test that confirmed his academic abilities and placed him in the 98th percentile for every student of his age in the entire Puget Sound region, both public and private. So for the remainder of the year, whenever I met with his teacher, she required the principal be present for every conference and every check-in conversation, because apparently I'm an angry black woman. And I can assure you that as the subject matter expert in diversity, inclusion, and equity for the state of Washington, as the advisor to Governor Inslee, I've never been called an angry black woman. I will offer you in my professional assessment that the district has a challenge in the areas of both inclusion and cultural competency. I think that that's an issue that has to be addressed. You're off to a good start having all of these stakeholders in the room. There has to be transparency, there has to be accountability, and you have to leverage the stakeholder relationship with the folks that are in the room today, because no child is safe until all children are safe.
Good evening, ladies and the school board. Thank you for your time. My name is Angelina Denver, and I have twin African American daughters that are in 7th grade this year, and they started the school year at one of the schools in North Shore School District. They are currently homeschooled, however. One of my daughters has quite a bit of anxiety and low IQ and spent much of her day in special education classrooms. She had a pretty rough transition to middle school. The lunchroom was big and noisy. Changing classes was hard, and learning where to go for each subject was pretty difficult for her. It was made even more difficult, unfortunately, when another older student acted as if my daughter were a friend, and instead she wanted to control my daughter, asking my daughter to do things that went against her moral code so they could stay friends. And when we found out, we asked our daughter to stay away from this new friend. This made the new friend upset, and she acted out physically towards our daughter. The new friend even grabbed my daughter at school, trying to force her to do what she wanted when she wanted. Astoundingly, our school was under the impression that our daughter was fine. Teachers thought that she might have been upset about science or having to negotiate the schoolroom, the lunchroom, and they were completely unaware of what was going on. We finally pieced it together, and the administrators, having never read our daughter's IEP, unaware of her needs or even the level of her understanding, made our daughter feel like she had done something wrong. She grew to fear school, and she could not be persuaded that it was a safe place. Our daughter was placed under psychiatric care, and per her therapist's recommendations, she even needed a serious medication to stop horrible nightmares that included wanting to harm herself and others. As this school year has come to a close, I asked my daughter if she would like to return to her old school. Her answer really didn't surprise me. It was, "No, Mom, I don't feel safe there." This is not what I want for her or any child in North Shore School District. No child is safe until every child is safe.
Beth, Salamanca? Probably not even close.
You're pretty close. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm here because I'm a parent. I'm Beth Salamanca. I'm a 25-year resident of North Shore School District, and I'm here to support the Timbercrest parents. I know some of them that go to that school. If I was in the same situation, I hope they'd be here to support me too. I'm a mother of 2 multiracial girls within the district. They've experienced racism throughout the years. I want it on record that I'm appalled by the way Timbercrest handled this crisis, and I want to say crisis in quotation marks because death threats equal no tolerance. And no tolerance equals any student who made those death threats should have been expelled from the school, and the 1 week suspension from the school should not have been tolerated at all. As a professional, the school should have called the police immediately, and I feared that this could have potentially turned into another Marysville shooting, and that they explore getting some outside intervention. You have started that, as we've heard tonight, but there needs to be additional swift action in preventing this issue from reoccurring, and to reassure us that our children are going to be safe within the schools so we can get back to education and our students learning, because no child is safe until every child is safe.